The book that I read was The Maze Runner by James Dashner. It's basically about these kids that have been sent to this place for a test, and when they get there, their memory is completely wiped out, not knowing what's going on. And all of a sudden, this one kid shows up, and everything starts going crazy, and they have to try to find some way to get out of this maze. And the author's purpose is to entertain his imagination. He reads books like The Ender's Game, and that gave him motivation to write The Maze Runner. He wrote this book for any reason that, people would want to read, and he also wanted to see people's reactions. And his audience was more for like kids who not kids, but like people who liked action-based books. And he accomplished this goal because I am a teen and I like action, and I obviously like this book. The point of view that the story is being told is third person, limited, omniscient, and it helps the author's purpose because the author's purpose is to entertain his imagination, and if it was just in first person, you'd only get one side of the story, but since it's in third, you get like the whole story. And the author's style is, like, I would say risk-taking and mysterious, because like there's just so much going on, and you can see how like the author adds to the risk-taking part of how, Thomas and stuff. And it's also mysterious because like they're stuck in a place and they have no idea where they're at and what they're basically doing. There's a lot of figurative language, but on page 219 there was a simile. On page 1 there was some personification. On page 263 it was a personification and a simile. And on page 214 it was a symbol. And on page 74 we saw imagery. Basically each one of them had a meaning and why they were used. The tone of the story, it goes from feeling like victorious because they've escaped, but then like scared because they're not really sure like what's gonna happen next. And it also gets like sentimental and sad the more you get into the story. This book is a 5-star book. I've read many action-packed books, but this is just by far the best. James Dashner does a really well job on helping his audience be able to imagine what was going on as if we were there witnessing it. It starts off so mysterious, like a guy shows up somewhere he has no idea, and then drama starts to happen and it gets so intense. You actually feel like you were there with the characters, and then you get to the ending where it leaves you hanging wanting more. That makes you want to read the rest of the books. If you are looking for a book that will keep you entertained, then go pick up The Maze Runner. Trust me, you won't regret it. My favorite passage was on page 358, and it was my favorite passage because Chuck and Thomas were friends, and they were really close, and Thomas made a promise to Chuck saying that he'd help him get out of the maze and take him back to his family. And at the end, Chuck jumps out in front of Thomas to save him, and Thomas was crying because he wasn't able to fulfill that promise that he made to Chuck. And I thought it was my favorite passage because like it's good to know that we have someone out there who would basically like take a bullet, but in this case a dagger, and risk their life for them, because that's like some true friendship right there. And this is the creative ending. Well, the end.